Coming up, a flashy new paint scheme on a Cirrus, the latest on 5G, and honoring flight instructors.
Plus, Spad gets poetic about his Super Cub, taking a look at the sheer joy of flight. That's all right after this.
This is AOPA Live This Week with Alyssa Cobb and Paul Harrop filling in for Tom Haynes.
The GA fleet is getting older, and most of us fly airplanes that are decades old.
There just aren't that many new piston singles sold every year, but Cirrus is one exception. The company continues to innovate and grow sales. AOPA editor-at-large Dave Hirschman shows us the latest updates to the Cirrus SR series.
The new Cirrus G6 has a long list of features, but the one that gets by far the most attention, both positive and negative, is the color.
So this is the model year 22 Arrive in Himalayan salt, so that itself is a brand new color.
Other new exterior color options include Corso, Monarch, and Mykonos. All Cirrus aircraft used to be white to reduce surface heat on underlying composite materials. Over time, however, paint manufacturers have developed new ways to reflect more sunlight and absorb less heat while using darker colors. Other G6 features include streamlined wheel fairings, keyless doors, a lighted step, and high-power USB charging ports. Aerodynamic improvements add about 9 knots to the SR-22T's top cruise speed at high altitude.
We took a look at all the different places on the plane where we could reduce drag, and we did a treatment to the leading edge of the wing as also the leading edge of the horizontal, where this black seam in between the Fiki panels and the wing basically smoothed that out.
Cirrus delivered more than 450 SRs in 2021, and this year the world's top seller of piston singles is on track to produce even more.
Sales are crazy, so for a multitude of reasons the demand is very, very high. We saw more orders in 2021 than we have seen, I think, ever in a year. It was almost double the number of orders that we saw in, if you compare it to pre-pandemic levels.
Prices range from about $550,000 for a base model SR20 to $1.2 million for an all-in SR-22T. Dave Hirschman, AOPA Live.
That is a beautiful airplane. I gotta tell you, I was grabbing some coffee when Ivy pulled up to the ramp with that thing, and it was like a moth to a flame. People were going outside to look at that. I actually shot some video and put it on TikTok, just how pretty that airplane was. It's just wildly beautiful. The video did it no justice there.
Well, Cirrus certainly knows how to grab attention, and as they mentioned, positive or negative on the paint, but if you fly an airplane to an airport and you get everybody to turn and look, not because of a bounce landing, but because of the airplane
Why not both?
color, then I think that's a good color.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, the 5G follies continue. The FAA said Friday that it has another agreement with Verizon and AT&T that will allow more aircraft to safely use their radar altimeters while the cell phone companies expand their latest technology 5G networks. The wireless giants agreed that they will not, I repeat, not activate 5G within 2 miles of some, that's only some, runways. They've given up more precise location of their cell towers, but that doesn't help much, according to some of the regional airlines. They say that some of the airports they use and some of their equipment have been left out of the agreement. Meanwhile, the FAA has just deployed a 5G dashboard that gives live data about the 87 airports with low visibility landings near the new 5G sites. Users can select different combinations of airports, aircraft, and runways to see which are available to land in low visibility conditions. But as always, check NOTAMs before you fly. Well, they said they would, and now they have. The town of East Hampton will close its airport on March 1st. Controversy has swirled around the airport as wealthy residents in the Tony area have complained about helicopters and jets using the airport. That is unless, of course, it's their jet. The airport will reopen on March 4th as a private use, prior permission required facility. Now, no details yet on who will get to use the airport. Now, AOPA had fought hard to prevent this, but sadly, the town apparently has the legal authority to do it.
Well, there was a huge hiring frenzy at the airlines. The pilot shortage is returning along with the demand for travel. One major source of airline pilots has historically been military pilots transitioning to civilian flying careers. Flight school MIL to ATP specializes in these pilots and training them. Matt Eichel is the chief instructor at the school. He's the AOPA Flight Training Experience Award's best CFI in the southern region. Matt spent 13 years flying F-15s in the Air Force before instructing at MIL to ATP.
It's just an extremely relaxed and fun, to be quite honest, way to fly airplanes and make your living flying airplanes, teaching people a skill on how to transition into the civilian world, giving them the things that they need to know to do that, and helping them out with that transition. Not only helps out people that previously served, that we served with and things like that, but also, so that rewarding side of it helps out a lot, but also it's just a fun place to work.
That's an awesome patch collection. MIL to ATP Flight School is located at Wayne Executive Jetport in North Carolina. And Sergio Ramirez, he's recognized as the regional best flight instructor for the Western Pacific region. Sergio taught at AeroGuard Flight Training Center in Temecula, California, before landing a job as a regional airline pilot. Sergio's students praise him for instilling pride, helping them look beyond their next check ride, and making the process of flight training enjoyable.
And we will honor the Flight Training Experience Award recipients at Redmer Migration. The National Conference for Flight Training Leaders is happening in Lakeland, Florida this next week. It's the 11th such gathering, and it's going to be at the Aerospace Center for Excellence adjacent to Lakeland Linder International Airport. Find more on our website. And the flight training fleet at California Aeronautical University is growing. The school has added 6 brand new Cessna 172S models to their gaggle of trainers. In addition to the 172s, the school has a 150, a Baron, a Citabria, ooh, that's fun, and some helicopters. Now, CAU is a career-focused university with programs in aviation, aviation business, and aircraft maintenance.
And if you know a flight instructor who's made a tremendous impact in a more than 20-year career, the Flight Instructor Hall of Fame is accepting nominations for the 2022 induction. Last year's inductee is Greg Brown. You may know him from his longtime Flying Carpet column. Learn the criteria and make your nomination on the National Association of Flight Instructors website. And speaking of awards, the Endeavor Awards are seeking nominations until February 9th. The Air Care Alliance, along with Angel Flight West, are looking for a pilot who goes above and beyond to serve. They want to hear about pilots who have made personal contributions and commitments to flying by volunteering their time, resources, and aircraft. Organizations can nominate the pilots who make a difference at EndeavorAwards.org. The winner will be awarded a $10,000 grant from Cirrus. They will be honored in May at the Red Carpet Endeavor Awards in LA. Well, don't go anywhere. We'll wax poetic about a Super Cub.
And check out an ice runway. Back in a sec.
Are you thinking about selling your airplane? I'm Kevin Tracy, and I own one of the largest advertising agencies north of Boston. And I'm the former VP of Marketing at Piper. I know airplanes and I know advertising. Go to twinairaviation.com to learn more about how I can help you sell your airplane.
Hey, it's almost that time. As we are taping this broadcast, the Alton Bay, New Hampshire ice runway is ready to open, but hasn't officially yet. The crews have worked hard and prepared the ice, and the conditions are good. According to their Facebook page, they are waiting on state officials to inspect the runway. Alton Bay designator Bravo 18 is the only official ice runway in the United States. Now, poor ice conditions have limited the runway for the past several years, but volunteer airport manager Paula Rochelle and his team have gotten it ready to go for the season. Be sure, as always, to check NOTAMs before you launch, especially towards Alton Bay. And the runway at Alton Bay won't be slushy, but what happens if your paved runway is a slush fest? Again, it is that time of year. That's the question answered by our friends at Pilot Workshops in their tip of the week. Elaine Coe says that since slush is wet, heavy, and thicker than snow, you might consider a soft field technique. That slush will slow you down on acceleration. You can sign up for the tip of the week on the Pilot Workshops website.
Well, have a vintage Cessna tail dragger? If so, listen up. Reports of seatbelt center bracket failures prompted the FAA to propose a new airworthiness directive that will affect certain Cessna Model 120 and 140 aircraft. The proposed AD requires determining if the seatbelt center bracket material is made of steel and replacing any non-steel brackets. The FAA estimates 2,033 airplanes of U.S. registry will be affected, with an estimated cost of $142.75 per airplane to replace any non-steel seatbelt center brackets. Learn more on our website. Well, it's a game of aerial chicken, but no feathers flew. Honeywell has just demonstrated detect and avoid radar on a drone. The radar can sense another aircraft and maneuver the drone out of the way. The RDR-84K radar unit is about the size of a paperback book. Honeywell says it's not confused by ground clutter or moving vehicles on the ground. Now, this is a major step toward permitting drones to operate beyond the operator's line of sight and to safely integrate into the National Airspace System.
Well, who would have ever thought a fun little amphibious light sport airplane would become a national security concern? But apparently the Icon A5, or at least its technology, could be a weapon of war. That's at least what Icon founder Kirk Hawkins and other board members and shareholders are claiming. According to reports in the Wall Street Journal and the Weekly of Business Aviation, the FBI and the Treasury Department are digging into Chinese investment in Icon aircraft, and that was prompted by a complaint to the Committee on Foreign Investment in the U.S. that a Chinese government-backed firm is hollowing out Icon and transferring its technology and intellectual property to China. The Chinese firm owns nearly 50% of Icon, but how does that affect national security? Well, the folks complaining say the A5 could be weaponized as a drone. They also say Icon has advanced technology, materials, and manufacturing capabilities that shouldn't fall into Chinese hands. Those claims echo a lawsuit filed by the same group of people last year, and not for nothing, Kirk Hawkins left his CEO position after the Chinese firm acquired a bigger stake in the company.
Well, Felipe Santiago started his company Aviator Zone Academy just a few years ago, but now the flight school is growing rapidly with a 10-airplane fleet. Aviator Zone Academy is the AOPA Flight Training Experience Award's best flight school in the southern region. Felipe is 27 years old, and he runs the flight school and works as an airline pilot for Spirit. He uses tools from his diverse aviation experience to help students succeed.
Having all the previous experience that I've had working for a flight school, I did 135. I've obviously in the 121 world, we're able to find the best stuff that I've seen throughout my career in those fields and implement them here at the school. And, quality of service, right? We're here for our customers. That's kind of what we put them first. Our goal is to make pilots. Obviously we are a for-profit business, but our main goal is to get people qualified and bring them to the aviation community, which really needs pilots.
You can find Aviator Zone at Miami Executive Airport. And Sierra Charlie Aviation in Arizona is another fast-growing flight school. The school is a regular on the list of winners in the AOPA Flight Training Experience Awards. Sierra Charlie has a new fleet of Cessna 172s. Owner Scott Campbell started the school with 2 airplanes in 2015. Now they have 16 airplanes, around 30 instructors, and 2 locations, one in Scottsdale and the other in Chandler.
It's something that is really important to me, is that the students and the instructors are also having a good time. It's a lot of money to learn how to fly, and it should be a fun experience. If you sit back and think about what we're actually doing, what we're doing is pretty cool. So it's a pretty neat thing to be able to get in an airplane and teach somebody that skill that they're looking to either move on to the airlines, or if they're doing it for personal enjoyment. It's really fun to watch that personal growth and see those things, the students succeed through that.
Well, congratulations to all the AOPA Flight Training Experience Award winners.
And as they all know, aviation means a great deal to those of us who are fortunate enough to enjoy it. AOPA Air Safety Institute's Richard McSpadden has some stirring thoughts about flying his airplane.
Gratitude consumes me when I fly my Super Cub. This bright yellow magic carpet that takes me to wondrous places physically and mentally. Morning flights are especially magical. The air is smooth. The Super Cub rigs so well that it's akin to having an autopilot. I can take my hand off the stick to sip some home-roasted coffee or adjust the satellite music flowing through my headset. I feel some warmth from the paltry cabin heat which knocks the chill off my legs in sporadic waves. I'm viewing an IMAX movie out my front windscreen, but I'm not just watching the action, I'm in it. Immersed in this spectacular panorama. The smells and sounds are real. The vibrations in my seat aren't fabricated. Their reassurance, the Lycoming 0320 is as content with this entire setting as I am. The moment is bliss, and I'm so grateful to capture it. Well aware that it's transient, both in a moment and in a lifetime. Flying has brought so much to my life, in many ways has been my life. The feeling of gratitude to the many people who boosted me here comes back frequently. In ways it seems unfair that I was exposed to aviation and given opportunities few have, and I feel a growing urge to give back, cast a wider net, and expose more people to this splendid experience that can change the trajectory of a life. Flying inspires and fosters connection and a community, and we could use more of that now.
Just beautiful, Richard. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was adapted from an article he wrote that you can find on the website. Wow.
Yeah, you know, I get a lot of those same feelings flying my Cessna 170. And, you know, a lot of our viewers, some of you may not be pilots yet, or you're trying to earn more certificates or ratings. You can experience that same fun and joy by earning a pilot certificate, and we can actually help. So, Paul, AOPA is offering flight training scholarships, more than 100 of them, ranging from $2,500 to $14,000.
Wow.
And that's to help people, start their primary flight training, pursue advanced training, actually even become an aircraft maintenance technician.
We need those too. I mean, as we have the growing need for pilots, we got to have people to maintain them, because you know, they're machines, they break, and you know, the scholarships are open right now, but the window of opportunity closes next week. These are all funded through very generous gifts to the AOPA Foundation for many people even out there watching now, generous donors. Alyssa, how do we apply for those?
Yeah, so you can go to AOPA's website and apply through there. Just make sure you do it before February 11th. And, you know, we'd love to see as many people as possible apply, get these scholarships, and enjoy that, just the love of flying that Richard so aptly captured.
Absolutely, and we hope that you think being a pilot is something special. And in fact, we hope that you're an AOPA pilot. If not, please join us. We will be stronger with you in our membership ranks. We'd love to have you as a member.
That's right, and we offer a free 6-month membership for student pilots, no strings attached. So become an AOPA pilot today on our website, aopa.org, and we'll see you again next week.
Purchasing your own aircraft is an exciting experience. AOPA Finance simplifies the process, saving you money with lower interest rates and hassle-free loans, so you get into your new aircraft sooner. AOPA Finance, the right approach to buying an aircraft.